So nice wide stance through the feet. Take a moment to place the hands over belly and heart. Keep the eyes opened or take a gaze inward for a few moments. Welcome yourself to this time for exercise, for movement. Begins with the breath. Nice steady inhale from belly through ribs up to the chest. Exhale from chest through ribs down to the belly. Try to keep that steady breath throughout the practice as much as possible. All right, let's inhale and lift the eyes, lift the arms up to the sky, full reach. And then fold over the legs. Bend the knees a little bit side to side here. Let the head hang as you do so. Stay on the right side. Kind of heel toe the left foot a little further out until we get a nice stretch through the inner thigh of the left leg. Walk the hands on over to the other side. As you walk the hands towards the left, bend the left knee a lot. Heel toe the right foot out more, sit lower as the body allows. Warming up, opening, seeing what's available this morning. Then walk it back to the center. This time, bend both knees, turn the toes out, take the elbows to the knees. That's sumo or goddess squat. Make your way all the way back up to standing. So you heel toe the feet in, come into the back end of the mat, just so we know we've got some room out in front to work with. And do leg raises, kicks, one side at a time, kind of a back ball change. However it works. Try to touch toes to the hand. Getting some movement, warming things up. Most of today's exercises are focused in the legs, but we surely will need the whole body coordinating together. Last one here. Now it's just knee raises. Lift, kind of squeeze. One knee at a time. Little bonus, doesn't usually work out for me in the beginning, but if you want to come on up to the toes of the standing leg as you do the knee lift. Good. And then take it into knee circles or leg circles. Stay on one leg here. 4 times in one direction. And then same leg, but exchange to the inside circle. Usually one of these feels a little funky. And then switch over, second side. Legs, of course, hold the biggest muscle groups that we work with. Important to give them a pretty good warm up. 4 and 4, switch the direction of the circle. Core working to compensate and hold the balance. All good things. All right, back at the back end of the mat, lift the arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold, touch down to the toes. Pause there for a moment. How much bend do you want in the knees? How much to straighten the legs to get into your right stretch here in the back of the hamstrings? And then walk the hands out to downward facing dog. Twisted down dog. Take the right hand towards the left leg, higher or lower towards the ankle. twist the body underneath. Set the right hand back down. Give it a go on the second side. Left hand, hold on either high to the thigh, a little more doable, or down low to the ankle to get in that twist. Okay, let's set the left hand down and come forward to plank pose. Extra slow, pull the right knee in, round the back so you get cat pose with the knee curl, and then step it back. So very slow mountain climbers. Left knee in, curl the back. Try to keep the arms straight this whole time, working strength through the upper body. Right knee comes in again. Step it back, left knee in. Step it back. 4 more, nice and slow like this. Right, back, left, back, right, back, and left. Step the feet to the outside of your hands. Sit as low as you can in your squat at the beginning. Keep the feet flat, sit the butt way down. Breathe with it there for a moment. But way down in this squat might mean different things depending on what time of day you're practicing, what the body did yesterday. Stand all the way up. Arms straight out in front. Air squats here. Sit down and lift 8 times. 1, 2. We're taking it all pretty slow here through this warm up. 4, no rush. 5, 6, good. 7, last one. Take the hands back down to the ground. Pause with the stretch through the back of the legs. Step it back to down dog. Feel free to pedal it out for a moment here. And then walk your hands back to your feet. And slow roll up to standing. Shoulders up and back a couple of times. Shoulders forward and down. Okay. Let's pick up the weights here. I'm going with a heavier set of weights. If you have something of 2 sizes, go for your heavier set. I'm using 10-pound dumbbells. Stand at the top end of the mat with your feet hip distance apart. Just keeping the weights down by your side. It's those same squats, down and up. With the weights down by our side, it tends to want to drag the chest forward and down. Try instead to keep the chest upright. I almost imagine the weights trying to go backwards in space so that everything keeps playing the game. And just find a rhythm that works for you, about 1 count down, 1 count up. Squeeze the glutes at the top, press the hips a little bit forward. Good. Keep going here for 3, 2, and 1. Set down one of those weights. Take the other to hold right at the chest. Nice wide stance. Sumo squat, turn the toes out. As you bend the knees, think tailbone straight down. Again, with the weight here, we'll want to let the chest fall forward. Do your best to stay upright. Sometimes it means lessening the depth of this squat. Almost like an extension of the warm-ups here. We're going count 1 down, 1 up. Let the breath stay focused and long. And 3 more here. 3, 2, 1. Heel toe the feet together. Exchange the weight one more time. Arms overhead. Keep the arms overhead. Step the right foot back. Not the longest lunge you've ever done, sort of a shorter stance. So that as you bend both knees, we're staying right here. A little lunge with both knees bent. And pulse in the legs. Arms straight overhead. Think shoulders out of the way. If arms overhead is a little too much, just take the weight at the chest or ditch it altogether. You're staying in this pulse. Again, just for 3, 2, 1. Pull the weight to the chest as you step forward. Second side, step the left foot back. If I was doing this in my yoga stance, it'd be really long and full. I want to come in a little bit closer so that you feel more of a short 90-90 stance. Arms overhead and pulse. You've got it. Stay with it. Making sure the whole body is good and warm. Okay, pull the weight back down to the chest and step forward. Set the weight down completely. Come to the front end of the mat. Lift both arms up to the sky. Kind of an active rest here. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to downward facing dog. Come forward to plank pose, lie flat down onto the yoga mat. Peel the chest up in cobra and sit back to child's pose. Stay here in child's pose. Reach the arms out nice and long in front of you. Walk the hands over towards the right side. Walk the hands across the center over towards the left side. And back into the middle. Sit upright, sit back on your heels, interlace the hands, flip the palms, push through thumb and first finger here. You can twist side to side. Exaggerating the knee flexion, depth in the hip flexor here. And then come on out to all fours. Okay, next series, no weights from all fours. Extend the right leg straight back behind you. Lift to hip height. And we're pulsing here. Little movements, up, up, up. And then keep that pulse and the little movement, but bend the knee, point the toes straight up to the sky. I always think of this as the scorpion tail, those toes trying to sting the sky. Okay, pull the right knee into the chest, round the back and the cat's back. Keeping the knee lifted, try to take the back to neutral spine, nice and long, look a little ahead of the hands, And like fire hydrant, knee goes out to the side and in. Think 1 count up, 1 count down. Up and down. Up and down. Notice where the weight is in the hands. Try to keep it balanced. It might be a little less range in the lift here, so that we know the hips aren't overly doing the work. And 3 more lifts here. 3, 2, and 1. Lower the right leg down. If you need a little release in the hands, do that. And then set right into the second side. Left leg back behind us, toes tucked and on the floor. And then lift it up, hip height. Straight leg and pulse. Think up, up, up the whole time. Fusing parts of a yoga asana practice, a bar Pilates practice into straight up resistance training. A little bit of everything today. Bend the knee, point the toes up to the sky, and keep that little pulse going. Okay, we'll go into a bigger range, so knee to chest, round the back. Take the rounded back out of the equation. Look ahead of the hands, ahead of the front of the mat. Lift the knee out to the side and down. Out to the side and down. So what I was saying in the weight of the hands, I'll notice everything really dip into my right side if I lift the left knee all the way to a 90-degree angle, but if I lift the knee more towards like 70 degrees or so, I can keep a little more even balance, and that right outer hip doesn't feel the pain. We're here, 3 more. Lift out to the side and in. Keep toning the belly to help it out. 2 and 1. From here, come down to the forearms and take forearm plank out on the toes. Just holding forearm plank, toes or knees. But there is nothing more to add right here. A little core stabilization amidst the work of the legs. We're here for 10 more seconds. I've got this. 10 seconds, no problem. You're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it all the way down to your belly. I'm going to stay on my forearms just because my mic is right at my chest, but you can go flat down to your belly here for this exercise, face flat down to the mat. It's much like we just did in all fours, but now all the way from the ground. You're going to lift the right leg and just do those little pulses. Lift, lift, lift. Just the right leg. And then switch and lift just the left leg. Lift, lift, lift. Lower it all the way down. Roll onto your left side. So you can have left hand behind the head to prop it up. If we're on the left side, right leg should be on top. Right hand can come forward to create the balance. Be as much in a straight line with your body as works. And we're taking the right leg all the way up and all the way down. Nice and slow actually here. Now about 2 counts up, 2 counts down. We're doing this just 5 times, seeing where that range of motion is finding you. Stay stable as you lift and lower. Try not to roll back on the extended leg. All right. And then you're just going to lift the right leg about 2 feet from the left. And then hug the knee in towards the chest and stretch it straight out. Knee in towards the chest and out. Knee in and out. In and out. You have one more like this. In and out. Finally here, that top leg, like it's trying to create little V shapes, right? V's in the sky here. Up and down, side to side a little bit. I said finally, but it's the final movement with this top leg. We're going to stay on this side, but now set the right leg down to the floor. So over, knee down, and you've got access to that bottom leg. And now the bottom leg is going to take up where the top left off in those little V shapes. This movement targets those harder to reach upper inner thigh muscles for tone. Spot training is mostly a myth, but it can't hurt to notice where and why we're doing a specific movement. And you're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lie all the way over to your second side. You can just roll over or switch it up like me to the other end of the mat. And if we've got our right hand behind the head for support, or it can lie all the way down. And at first, we've got a full stack, trying to be in a straight line, which means the core has to be working to hold your balance the whole time. And we're going for that long range of motion. 5 times. Left leg all the way up, all the way down. Notice how much you tend to want to rotate back and fall back. And it is just the noticing. How is one side different from the other? All right, and then we lift the leg about 2 feet up and pull knee in towards the chest and stretch it back out. Like my elbow kind of gets in the way as you pull the knee in. Maybe a little bit like a bicycle. Do that 5 times. In and kick back. In and kick back. And then right V's with the top leg. Little tone in the glutes so that you're working through the entire limb. My V's are definitely messier on the left side. I don't know about you guys. Okay, we're going to throw that left leg forward and be able to use the bottom leg here. And then the bottom leg gets to write the V's. Just keep going for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. 2 straight legs. You can fall back to the belly, push to child's pose. Push to downward facing dog. And walk the feet to the hands. Come on up safely to standing. Time to pick up the heavier weights again. Just one weight. Hold it down by your side in the right hand. Put your weight into the left leg. Tap the right toes back behind you. From here, think of a pendulum as head and torso go dip down, leg needs to lift up. So RDL here. Looks a bit like warrior 3 with the right arm weighted down. You come back upright. Lower the weight to about mid-shin. Feel free to have some bend in the standing leg. Working on balance and control here. Right leg lifts as the right weighted arm goes down, and vice versa. Not too many of these, so put your full focus into each. You're down and slowly up. One more here, down and up. Switch the weight, switch the legs. So tap the left toes back, find your weight, your balance when you're upright, and then like the pendulum, as the weight goes down, torso, head drag towards a T shape, left leg lifts to the same degree. And come upright. If you're wobbling, bobbling, it's a piece of the practice. Hold strength and steadiness in the core. And try again. You can always take a little bit of the range out and see if that's helpful. But we all lose the balance sometimes. Big piece of the practice. Keep finding back to center. Letting it brush off when it's not quite there. We've got 2 more on this side. 1 and up and 2 and up. Hold the weight in both hands again, straight up towards the sky. Try to keep the weight straight up to the sky, knowing it's going to come forward a little bit as you sit into Utkatasana. Bend the knees, sit into the thighs. Again, anytime I've got the arms straight out, you could also bring the weight to the chest here and hold. This is a steady hold of the pose. Imagine squeezing a block between your inner thighs. Keep that midline contraction. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Weight down to the chest and set it all the way down to the ground for a moment. Perhaps a nice thing, we see the exercise and then we set it aside. We're not coming back to anything today. I'm going to pick up my lighter set now and stand at one end of the mat. Standing on the left side so that I have some room out to the right to step into a lateral lunge. It's weights on either side of the front knee. And then coming all the way back in. Yeah? Stay on that same side until we're done. Great way to modify this is to just stay out, bend and straighten the leg. If it works for you though, I want you to take that full step in the whole time. And we're finding our own pace, just about a count of 1 and 1. Not super, super fast. Also not slow here, right in the middle. Try to keep the chest lifted just like we do in all of our other squat and lunge positions. Do 3 more on this side. 3. That nice strong squeeze each time you step the feet back in together. That's where I think the real work is. And last one. And then scoot on over to the other side. So again, you have the length of the mat to work with. And we'll step out. Dumbbells around the front knee, about mid-shin. If we take the dumbbells all the way down towards the ankle, your chest is certainly going to fall down and forward. So think if dumbbells are higher up, you'll have an easier time staying lifted in the chest. Good. Keep going here. Remember, it's that push off and squeeze the inner thighs. Each time you can, feet back together. 3 more times. 3. We're looking good. 2. And 1. Carefully set the weights down. Again, a little active recovery. Come to the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower it flat down to the mat. Peel the chest up. Push back to child's pose. Go to downward facing dog. Slowly walk the feet forward to the hands. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand, reach the arms to the sky. And release the arms down by the side. Okay, last set of work with the weights. I'm going just one weight for a suitcase squat. So you hold the weight. I'm holding right hand, left hand to the waist, and it's simply a traditional squat that we've already done, and then we're adding a curtsy lunge to that. So you're gonna move towards the weight. Take the left leg behind the right into a little curtsy and step the feet back together. So it's 2 things at once. 1 squat, 1 curtsy. Stay on the same side. 1 squat, 1 curtsy. As you curtsy, think left foot stepping just a little bit past the line of the right heel. Some folks will try to line up actually toes right behind the heel. So you could give that one a go too. I think that overstep actually makes balance a little bit more doable as long as it feels good in the knees. All of these movements with the weight, trying to go about 1 and 1, but finding your own pace today. And when that right arm starts to feel a little heavy, let's stay back into the center and switch it on over to the other side. Set, ready to go. Squat and curtsy back. Squat and curtsy. Find your rhythm. Breathe with it. Find your range. Few more, we're almost there. Last one. As you come back to center, safely set down the weight. Yeah, we're taking this active recovery in between. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. One sun salutation. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower to the mat. Cobra, make it an easy cobra. Press back to child's pose. Breathe there for a moment. Downward facing dog. All right, listen up here. Lift the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Step it all the way forward to your lunge, hands to the inside of your foot. Stretch right arm high, so a twist here. Bring the right hand to the inside. This is the same lateral squat that we opened with. You're going to turn to face the long edge of the mat so that you can sit low into Skandasana, or that lateral squat. You might have a little bit more range than when you started. I'm feeling a little more confident in it. Butt as far down to the floor as it goes right now. Try to keep the right foot flat. And then gradually turn back to that low lunge and send the right leg up and back, three-legged dog, before setting it down to the mat. Same thing, second side, lift the left leg high. And as you step the left foot forward, both hands to the inside of the foot. Keep wiggling it out until you have your full stride. Left hand up to the sky in your twist. And set the left hand back down. Looking towards the right long edge of the mat, spin the legs to your Skandasana, your lateral squat. Keep the left foot flat, sit the butt as low as it goes. Right toes can come off of the mat in a flexed position. Hold the hands where your body needs to hold the pose. And then work it back to your low lunge and send the left leg all the way up and back. Before coming back down to the ground here, forward to plank, down to the belly, flip over, lie onto your back. We'll use our last few minutes here for a quick abs burst. Hug the knees into your chest. Lift the head and shoulders off of the mat and just a good squeeze here in the beginning. Now take your hands like they're trying to reach towards your heels on either side of the body. Set the feet down onto the mat. You're ready for pigeon heel touches. Go side to side, side to side. Chin kind of tucks, but shoulders, upper body lifted a bit to make this doable. Keep tapping side to side. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the arms, extend the legs, fully flat on the mat, but exaggerate the low back curve. Full extension sit-ups. So you take the arms straight up towards the sky and then do a full sit-up. And the hands straight in the air can help you with a little momentum. Once you come all the way up to that high L shape, you try to keep the hands at the same place in space, but lower the torso down, and then arms overhead. A bit like the teaser in Pilates, I believe. Come all the way up Don't quote me on that. I am not a Pilates person. Go for 8 of these full extension sit-ups. Do you want that lift of the upper back away from the mat so you get a stretch through the front ribs each time you're down against the mat? All right, wherever you're at, do one more of this full extension sit up. And then take the hands behind your head in a careful little cradle, soles of the feet. Nothing like a good old crunch here. Head, shoulders off the mat. Just plain old crunches, lift and lower. Keep head and shoulders up the whole time. So there's a good contraction of the muscles that stays. Good balancing work after the full extension. You're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set head and shoulders down, cross the right ankle over the left knee, point the right knee out to the side, and then take the right hand free out to the side. We'll add the crunch, the kind of cross crunch here, while we're getting a good passive stretch through the hips. Left elbow towards the right knee, up and down. Again, you can keep it in the crunch so head and shoulders never come fully down to the ground. Just quick spots here. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the head for a moment. Switch sides. Left hand out, right hand behind the head, left leg on top. And let's add the crunch, in and out. We've got just about 60 seconds left in the entire practice. You can do it. You're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very last little bit. Both legs straight up into the air. Hands straight up. Lift head and shoulders. Try to tap your toes. Just hold the lift. Hold the lift. Keep breathing. And knees into chest. Hold heavy, knees to chest, or you can take it to happy baby. Should feel nice as well with the inner thigh work from today. Give it a release. Rock yourself gently up to a seated position. Give yourself a hug, one arm over the other. Get a release in the shoulders at the same time. Switch it over a second side. All right, thanks for coming to Triple B.